First things first, before I forget, don't remember what episode it was, but it was kind of weird. Alex suspects that Justin's becoming a bad person. So she tells her dad about it, and her dad, the parent, I know it's a kid's show, so obviously Alex's main character has got to focus on her. But her fucking dad tells her she has to investigate why he's a bad person and to go find it out. You're the parent. What the fuck? They also do another thing that really bugged me. I complained about it in season 3, where they had this big plot about how aliens aren't real, even though they had aliens in the past. Where they basically just not acknowledge that aliens are real in the Wizards of Waverly Place universe, even though they are. Well, they bring back Hugh Normus, an unfunny character that was just a dude that was not giant. He was a giant that wasn't giant. And he would had like this reoccurring gag, or he would pick up really small things, and just because he wanted it to look really small to him. He acknowledges that himself at first, and then they just pretend like he doesn't even know that those things aren't actually small. But they bring him back near the end of the series, and they retcon, basically. I'm not sure that's what they meant to do. I guess they just forgot they had an episode where it was literally last season, I'm pretty sure, where Hugh Normus is, we discovered that he was actually adopted and his parents aren't actually giants. But they bring him back and they kind of just completely ignore that. He still thinks he's a giant or whatever. It's so fucking stupid. Zeke is still dating Harper by the end of the series. I do have one nitpick about that now, and that's the fact that he graduated like before she did last season. I'm not sure exactly when they got together, but some people when they graduate turn 18. I guess it wouldn't be too much of a problem if she's 17, but I just wish they would have said their ages. Just him already being graduating and dating her is kind of weird, just in my opinion. I'm pretty sure their age gap probably isn't terrible, but still weird. Also, another thing that's not a nitpick, because this was like a major thing. It was in a 2-parter, and they even bring it up in the season finale. Justin's girlfriend, that's played by the same girl that is Teddy Duncan in Good Luck Charlie, gets turned old because she gets bit by a werewolf or something dumb like that. And that's basically the end of her. We get this kind of sad thing. I don't even think I mentioned it. And we kind of move on from her. In like season 3, we see her. She's an old lady. She's sitting behind a tree. She's smiling and she's happy that Justin's moving on. Well, fuck that. They're back together again and she's not old anymore. And they don't even explain why. At least when Mason got back with Alex, they kind of gave a reason why he's not a wolf anymore. They kind of fixed it. But they don't even give a reason for her. Speaking of Mason, I fucking hated him this season. He eats... I'm pretty sure it's this season. Maybe I just forgot, but he eats her fucking ex-boyfriend because he's jealous. He eats her ex-boyfriend because he's jealous. I repeat. He eats her ex-boyfriend because he's jealous. What the fuck? And she stays with him after that. There's a rumor that her and this dude are dating that honestly he's just one of the most fucking forgettable characters ever. He's supposed to be famous or whatever, but I don't give a fuck about his character. And he's kind of mad that Alex spends time with him. And he demands that she choose which one of them to date. He's just a fucking piece of shit. I hate Mason. And then, of course, Oh no, actually not, of course. She stands up for herself and says why she doesn't want to be with him anymore. It's a fucking amazing moment that you do not expect from a Disney show because they basically encourage toxic relationships. Like when Teddy dated Spencer in Good Luck Charlie after he cheated on her. After she went back to him. It was fucking weird. But she actually stands up for herself, and it's actually pretty good, pretty well written, and she gets what she needs to be said out there. But she ends up going back to him. And because I guess they want them to have an all happy ending, it's pretty fucking stupid. They let Alex and Justin both stay wizards, even though the whole big plot point of this show that they love to shove down your throats, because it's important and it should be, is that only one person can be the family wizard. Justin's about to win the competition, but he gets stuck on a tree branch, so Alex helps him, and then he ends up winning the competition, so he's like, nah, I can't take this. Let Alex be the wizard, because I wouldn't have won if not for her. So she gets to be the wizard, and then Professor Crumbs is like, well, I want you to replace me. You're a wizard now. It's so fucking stupid. And then they love to shit on Max, so he gets to like own the restaurant or something, but he doesn't get to be a wizard. They also actually talk about the Jeremy from Science thing, which I did not expect them to bring up. And like Harper wakes up from like a nightmare and just like a throwaway joke, but I remember it about, oh wait, is Jeremy from Science back? It's kind of bad timing now that I'm dating Zeke. So I guess they just acknowledge that fucking Jeremy from Science is still banished and fucking probably dead from what Stevie did back in season 3. They also have like this kind of funny thing. I guess it makes sense, but at the same time doesn't. Where Harper, the girl that was obsessed with Justin for like 2.5 seasons, asked what Justin would do. The girl that stalked him, basically stalked him. It was kind of creepy at times. She even made like him a coat at some point made out of her hair. It was just like, anyways, she asked Max what Justin will do. There's also this thing that they kind of fuck up where Harper talks to Crumbs about magic, and he's like, how do you know about magic? And she's like, well, because you teleported in front of me or something. But are they not going to acknowledge the fact that she's in the lair? She's in the lair. But they try and use that as an excuse. They're like, she tries to like manipulate him, trick him, and he's like, oh yeah, don't mention this to anybody or whatever. And I guess they just completely forget about the spell that for plot reasons, because Harper's known she's a wizard for like I think 2 seasons now. So she's in the fucking wizard lair, but he doesn't acknowledge that because I guess they didn't think that through. And she easily could have said that the reason she knows about wizards now is because of the fact that the Angel of Darkness dude or whatever, you know, showed his, like, I mean, she was in, I don't know. I guess she actually couldn't have said anything about that because it was like a wizard floor and she shouldn't have been on it. But, it's all kinds of confusing and dumb when you think about it. The dog with the blog dad is in one random episode where he's like sings or something. I think it's the final appearance of the principal dude. It was cool to see him here, I guess. Diana Delano shows up as a wizard coach. I recognize her face. That's all I can say, unfortunately. Bailey Madison was in this show. She's actually in a lot of popular stuff. She was in Prisoners. She was in Bridge to Terabithia as the younger sister. She's just in a lot of stuff. Well, Max accidentally gets turned into a girl after Alex and Justin get in a fight and their spells cross or some shit. And he gets turned into a girl for like quite a few episodes, and she plays as him. Maybe Max's actor was sick. I don't know. I didn't bother to look it up, but I guess it was cool to see her for a bit and see a different character. And since for some reason she wasn't as dumb as Max, like she was basically a different character. And then of course, Teddy's boyfriend was actually in this show. Spencer, the dude I mentioned. He's in an episode where he just compliments people and convinces people to do stuff for him. Like he kind of flirts with Harper and Harper's mom. Not Harper's mom, Alex's mom. And he also he's kind of like what you see in school, those little asshole kids that befriend people with disabilities, and they're kind of just there to laugh at them because they don't actually want to be friends with them. It's just a joke to them. Well, he's that. He becomes friends with Max because that exact reason he doesn't really want to be friends with him, but he thinks it's funny how he acts. At first, they make it seem like he doesn't know that Max is actually stupid. The Max is just making jokes. After a while, it definitely seems like he's just being friends with Max because he's stupid. It's kind of weird. So, let's see. Oh, by the way, in the episode where Max gets turned into a girl, he doesn't get turned into a girl until like the last 3 minutes. But the episode is named after that. So they act like that's going to be the main plot, but it definitely isn't. Let's see. Oh, did I oh, yeah. Since I did talk about it in season 3, I guess I gotta talk about it here. The whole wizards being exposed thing actually didn't happen, so they did back out of it, but not like what the Thundermans did. Or other shows did. They're just kind of like, oh, it was kind of a test by Professor Crumbs. It was all an illusion or something. It was dumb. Let's see. Zeke finds out. Magic unmasked. Meet the werewolves. Yeah, Beast Tamers when we were introduced to that forgettable ass character. Yeah, honestly, a lot of this season wasn't the greatest. It was kind of disappointing when the first part of the final season was a game show. But I guess they kind of made up for it by it having like some trials, like a maze and shit. But then the rest of the stuff happens off screen and we only see the ending because they want to explain why Justin's not being the family wizard. And then he gets to be the family wizard anyway. Still kind of pissed about that. I do think because of the way they did their characters, anybody could have been the family wizard and it would have worked. Alex is the main character. We see her the most. She underestimated at times, though most of the time she is kind of dumb since she doesn't study as much and she kind of makes rash decisions and she pays for her mistakes. Sometimes she learns from them, sometimes she doesn't. I did like we got to see the thing from that random episode. I don't even know how I remember it. There was an episode with like fashion or whatever, and she stopped time by doing a spell and like hopping on one foot, and when you stop hopping, the time starts again. Well, they bring back that spell during the time trials or whatever. But it also kind of doesn't make sense. It works for a little bit. She just hops on one foot to get it done. But then she like floats. She can't hop while floating. She doesn't even look like she's hopping. She's clearly floating and that's it. But once she lands in the rock, I guess they counted that as stop hopping. But anyways, I thought that was cool. Um, and Justin, he definitely could have worked. He studied for this. He's great. Though they did kind of fuck up his character at times during the season. He was like a bit of an asshole. He broke the rules sometimes, and that's even before he turns evil in that one episode. And it just doesn't really fit his character, especially the way he breaks the rules. I'm not, everybody isn't fully good. People sometimes do bad things. So I'm not saying Justin can never be bad. He has to always be good. Just the way they did it did not work. And Max, it could have worked. Not because he's like super smart or anything, just because it would have been like a big, funny plot twist that out of all people, Max won it. But of course, they just give it to the two main smart characters and then say, fuck Max, he gets the restaurant. Which at like twice in the show, the restaurant almost like entirely disappears. So, and also it kind of like Max fucks up like a lot, and you're saying he's gonna run that restaurant by himself. Okay. And yeah, that's about it.